Hello, Hedge Bangers. How are you? And welcome to the show. So, well, let's get it started, shall we? I wear a caftan always, preaching love and peace. Banned the bomb, they clubbed off war and killed the nuclear beast. I am the aging hippie with beads around my neck. Oh, I smoke dope, I never use soap. My God, I look a wreck. I live on a commune, reaping the land. I grow my wheat, I brew my beer, always in old Al Grant. I am the aging hippie with beads around my neck. Oh, I smoke dope, I never use soap. My God, I look a wreck. My friends have all got married, they live on new estates. Oh, red brick walls and family rows, higher and higher rates. I am the aging hippie with beads around my neck. Oh, I smoke dope, I never use soap. My God, I look a wreck. Now I am the only one to tell you of our strife. With long grey hair and an old guitar, I sing to you of strife. I am the aging hippie with beads around my neck. Oh, I smoke dope, I never use soap. My God, I look a wreck. A song from, when was I 18? The 70s. And that was the aging hippie where I was visualising my future. Luckily, not all of it came true. So, what have we got for you today? Well, we've got videos tonight from Fine Lines, which we've got to thank Damien Liptrop for. We've got a video from Ian K. Osborne, who was a locally based musician, but then he ran off to Spain a couple of years ago, and now he's a Spanish-based musician. And we've got a really fine set recorded especially for us by Ian K. Brown, who was a Trevor Key discovery. And this morning, I phoned one of my friends who lives in Hexham, and she told me that she knows him. And he teaches music to her Dementia Club members. So, a connection I never even knew about. So, what's been happening with you? Tell me all your news on the thing. We've got, I've been really busy. I've been to Cambridge this week and found out people didn't know how to do their jobs. And I've been to the doctors and I've had needles stuck in my knees, and believe you me, the stuff that he injected in was a lot nicer than the stuff that he took out beforehand. So that was pleasant. And so far so good. In fact, I hurt my knee for the first time just before we came on air, and it's aching a bit, but they're getting better. It seems to be working. Fingers crossed. I watched the England matches. I was pleased with the first win. It's a bit of a dichotomy when England play Scotland. I have to admit, 25 years ago in '96, I was actually supporting Scotland. I mean, that's what comes to being married into a Scottish family, and we eventually went to live up there and all that. And we went to the Bridge House in Norwich. I'm not even sure if it's still open. And we watched the match there. And we were accused by the England supporters of not knowing the national anthem, which we did. But they didn't realise it had 2 verses, and because God Save the Queen doesn't have that many verses, well, not the ones that are sung anyway, and of course they all got the lyrics wrong there as well, so it was honours even, really. Unfortunately, England didn't get the result that they got in '96. So we'll have to wait till next week and see what they can do against the other team they're playing. I can't remember who it is now. Begins with C.
Is it Croatia?
I think we played Croatia. Czech Republic. Czech Republic. There we go. I think. Yes. Anyway, you may have heard a little voice in the background then. Well, that is because this week's remote producer is not remote. No. He's here in the studio with me. Studio. Makes me laugh whenever I say that. Yeah, it's Magic Mike Booty. Say hello, Mike.
Hello, Mike.
There you go, you see. He's real. He's here. And he's controlling my output from a socially distanced 3 metres away. And it's absolutely fine and great and dandy. So, I think it's time for our first video already, isn't it? And our first video, I don't know if I've got this set up right. Yes, I have. And it's by a group called Fine Lines. The song is called Del Rio. And Damien Liptrot, who is part of Merry Hell's management, actually came up with this one for me. And Fine Lines are an 8-piece band. And during the video, I would like somebody to search in their minds and tell me on the comments what is the connection between Fine Lines and BBC radio TV presenter Mark Radcliffe. So have a think, let me know on the comments, and enjoy the video in the meantime.
Deep blue place, reached by a winding road on a map. Something happening beyond the ocean. We never felt anything quite like that. Hold my hand to heaven, let's climb to the clouds. Don't go near the water, stay close to me. 100 hands won't stop you falling. They told us it was something we had to see. In the barge car, it was 2 days dry. When we hit Del Rio, we knew we'd arrive. Worth every penny, felt good to be alive. We hit Del Rio, we knew we'd arrive. When we hit Del Rio, we knew that we'd arrive.
That's Fine Lines Del Rio. And you probably heard me go, ha ha, you see, I'm getting ready for the pantomime season, as you can see by my shirt, which is The Show Must Go On. It's for the Theatre Support Fund, Acting for Others, the NHS COVID-19 Urgent Appeal, and, you know, a lot of this is actually being run by Phoebe Waller-Bridges, who's set up a foundation. So they're worth buying. Look out for them. They're on Facebook all over the place. Just type Theatre Support Fund into Google and you will find these wonderful t-shirts. Sorry about the little mess up before Fine Lines actually came on. I had programmed the system wrong and really confused poor old Mike. So it's a good job he was here and not where he normally is, eh? So I could tell him. One of the problems of doing this show and having a radio DJ watching is that I can never catch anybody out with the questions, can I? And Trevor Key quite rightly replied that Mark Radcliffe is a member of the band Fine Lines and he's actually their drummer. So there you go. So I'm going to have a look, see who's watching. Brian Temple from New York, John Parker, Claire Booty, Louise Booty, Bob Yankowski, and presumably Kathy as well. Chris Purvis, hello Chris. James Hubbard, Donna Brett. Oh, Bob Yankowski is saying Poland is playing Spain tonight, but he would never miss a good hedge fang. Oh, brilliant. Chris Purvis says check. So it's not the Czech Republic we're playing. If they're playing Poland. This is a problem with having a producer in here that doesn't watch football. You know? Trevor Key, as I said. Chris Jennings is watching. Hello, Chris. We must get together sometime now. We're allowed out. Maybe when we're allowed to actually go to the bar and get a drink, that might be nice. And Trevor Key's threatening to lend me a book to read, Mark Radcliffe's autobiography. Jill Pemblitt's watching. Chris Purvis says hello. There's a lot of people in. Just before this, actually, I was watching Mike McNevin. You remember we had him on as a guest the other week, but he's now doing shows on a Saturday. And so I was watching him, and I did advertise the show on there. So let's hope somebody's watching from there or starts watching soon. He sends his love to everybody. He says it's a great little show. And it's amazing who we even get on YouTube. Now, I can't remember if I've actually sung this song in the Hedge before. It's a song I may well have done a long time ago. But I was thinking about it today because, or the other day, my nephew, Aaron, is the warden on the Calf of Man, which is just a little island off the Isle of Man, and it's basically uninhabited apart from the birds and the warden and his assistants during the summer months. And he's, shall we say, accident prone. There was a time when he had an accident with a tractor. And it's not that easy, you know. If you have an accident on a small island, getting to the hospital can be a bit difficult. The last accident he had, he was up in one of the lighthouses and stepped backwards and fell through the hole and went 20 foot down and broke both of his legs very, very badly. So he had to be rescued by a mixture of the RNLI and the Coast Guard, the helicopter and everything, and taken to Liverpool. And it was amazing. And they filmed it as a training exercise, but they never put it on Saving Lives at Sea presumably because he was in a lighthouse. But it was great fun, apparently. No, he's a great guy, Aaron, and he just knows his birds so well. And it reminded me of this song, The Ellen Van Inn Tragedy, by Hughie Jones, who was in The Spinners. And Ellen Van Inn was a ship, an iron paddle steamer, originally called Mona's Isle, which is an alternative name. Well, Ellen Van Inn and Mona's Isle are basically the same name, and it actually is the alternative name for the Isle of Man. And she was built in 1860, but then she was rebuilt as a screw-propellered ship, and she was used on the Ramsey to Whitehaven and Liverpool routes. And on the 3rd of December 1909, she left in a terrible storm with 15 passengers, a crew of 21 sailors, and the mail. And as they approached the Mersey, she was caught in a force 12 gale, and she sank with the loss of all lives. And it was a terribly sad time for everyone, and they managed to raise £12,000 by public subscription for the relief of the bereaved families. It's a tremendously sad tale and a sad song, so I thought I'd sing it. The Ellen Van Inn Tragedy. Felton, Old Ben Macree, 14 ships that sailed to sea, proudly bearing their man's names. But there's one will never again. The Isle of Man Company. Oh, Ellen Van, lost in the Irish Sea. At 1 a.m. in Ramsey Bay, Captain Tier was heard to say, our contracts has delivered a mail. In this rotten weather we must not fail. Oh, Ellen Van of the Isle of Man Company. Sheltered from the storm as Ellen Van Inn on the wave was born. Her holds were full and battened down as she set sail for Liverpool town. The Isle of Man Company. Oh, Ellen Van, lost in the Irish Sea. With a crew of 21 Manx men, her passengers Liverpool businessmen. Farewell to Mona's Isle, farewell. Oh, this'll little ship was bound for hell. Oh, Ellen Martin of the Isle of Man Company. Oh, Ellen Martin, lost in the Irish Sea. Less than a mile from the bar light ship, by a mighty wave Ellen Vannin was hit. She sank 'neath the waters of Liverpool Bay, and there she lies until this day. Oh, Ellen Vannin, the Isle of Man Company. Oh, Ellen Vannin, lost in the Irish Sea. Few Manxmen can now remember the third day of the month December, the terrible storm in 1909, when Ellen Vannin sailed for the very last time. Oh, Ellen Vannin, lost in the Irish Sea. Oh, Ellen Vannin, lost in the Irish Sea. Oh, Ellen Vannin, lost in the Irish Sea. The Ellen Vannin tragedy. What a tragedy it was. So, that's got me all of a quiver. Well, something has to, I suppose. I mean, it's such a quiver that I've suddenly remembered when I went to a party with one of my ex-wives, and it was getting late and I wanted to go home, and she was having a good time. And I called up to her, I said, are you ready to come home, mother of two? And she shouted back down to me, any minute now, father of one. You know, that made me feel great. It is a joke, honest. Honest, kids, it is a joke. Really, really. Oh, God, what have I just said? Anyway, what else have we got to do? Coming up later, don't forget, coming up next, we got Ian Francis Osborne and his video, A Bird of Prey's Prayer. And we got a fantastic set from Ian K. Brown from Northumberland. I was just going to have a quick look and see what you've been saying. Oh, we do play the Czech Republic on Tuesday. Chris Purvis has just told me. Oh, thank you. Brian Temple reckons that song's poignant, and I got the clap from Trevor Key. So, doing well there. Onwards. Our next video, it's from Ian Francis Osborne. He led the Osborne Files, which grew quite a reputation in Norwich and on the Norfolk music scene. And then he says he unexpectedly found himself packing his bags and guitars for a new life in Spain. But he continues to produce music and to release it on all the various platforms. And this is a video of a recent release, and this isn't even on his website yet, so almost an exclusive for us. And this is called A Bird of Prey's Prayer. prayer.
Miles and miles of olive green, and the Lucian sing. Whitewashed walls are whitewashed clean, and the bluest sky I've ever seen. People stare at you, then they say hello in an accent that even countrymen don't know. Open hearts and minds, just like their doors. Century-old traditions running back across the walls. Miles and miles of olive green, and a Lucian scene. Whitewashed walls are whitewashed clean, and the bluest sky I've ever seen. Miles and miles of olive green, and a Lucian scene. Whitewashed walls are whitewashed clean, and the bluest sky I've ever seen. 1,000 miles away, it's a different world. Red and yellow, green and white, my flags unfurled. Wait for a red sky to appear from the blue. Watching sunsets, knowing that it also rises too. Miles and miles of olive green, and a Lucian scene. Whitewashed walls are whitewashed clean, and the bluest sky I've ever seen.
I hope you enjoyed that. I thought it was a really quite nice song, a lovely little video from Ian. And don't forget, you can check all the artists. Please do. Go to their websites, go to their PayPal Me sites. All the details come up on the screen at the end of the show where you can sort of jot them down. And, they would love to hear from you. They'd love to sell their music to you or get your donations. And, an awful lot of musicians, I'm lucky. I work for a living as well. And I've been doing this just to really try and put people out there and give people an audience during a difficult time. Some of these people, these are their livelihoods, and they don't get the grants, they don't get furloughed. The only thing, if they're lucky, is to get loans. So, it really helps when you donate to the PayPal Me pages. Right, don't forget, by the way, Trevor Key's Blowing in the Windham, which is available on Thursdays on mixcloud.com. And you can keep up to date with all that news by joining his Blowing in the Windham Facebook group. Last check of messages. Oh, hello Steph, you're here. And yes, some little messages going on between Trevor and I. You can read them yourselves. This is a Rory McClellan song, which I first learned from John Betmead, who was a Cambridge-based singer, and he just did us a very, very great favour when we were first starting up a folk club as students, and the student union ran out of money and patience, and so we went out on our own, and John Betmead came along and took pity on us and donated us his fee, which was really nice of him. And so I bought his album, and in actual fact he did tell us that night that he sold more albums that night than he would ever sell normally, so it probably worked out quite nicely for him. And this was a lovely little song. I can't believe that you're honestly thinking of leaving me. I thought that leaving really wasn't even on your mind. I'm drowning in tears, drawing constantly nearer to losing you. I'll just be biding my time while the glow from the wine makes a fool of me. Over and over I practice every day what to do when I see you. When I see you, my tears get in the way. I spend my nights making up things I might have to say to you, keep you from going, but stop you from knowing how I feel. But till the night says goodbye to the light and your face I'll see, I'll just be biding my time while the glow from the wine makes a fool of me. Over and over I practice every day what to do when I see you. But when I see you, my tears get in the way. I spend my nights making up things I might have to say to you, stop you from going, to keep you from knowing how I feel. But till the night says goodbye to the light and your face I'll see, I'll just be biding my time while the glow from the wine makes a fool of me. I'll just be biding my time while the glow from the wine makes a fool of me. I'll just be biding my time while the glow from the wine makes a fool of me. They don't write them like that anymore with just two verses and you have to repeat the second verse. It's brilliant, isn't it? As I say, lovely Rory McClellan song, who you may remember. Yeah, extra points for anyone that can tell us something else that Rory McClellan wrote. So, here we go. We are going to now go to our special guest for tonight. And I have to thank Trevor Key for putting me on to our guest tonight. And it's a chap called Ian K. Brown. Now, Ian lives in Northumberland. And as I said, I was chatting to a friend of mine who lives in Hexham in Northumberland today. And she said, "Oh, I know Ian. He teaches at our dementia club. And he teaches music to the people there. So, good on you, Ian. And what a small world it can be, eh? But Ian was a deputy head teacher. And he got made redundant in 2007. So he did the sort of thing that all teachers do and completely changed direction and founded a filmmaking company with his son. And he also decided to return to music. And he's worked his way up and got onto the festival circuit, and he plays at many, many major folk festivals, and including Maddie Pryor's festival as well. Well, that's until recent events, of course. The last 15 or 16 months, suddenly no work, no festivals, no filming. It's all been very difficult. So again, my appeal is out there. When he puts up his PayPal Me page, please, if you can, and only if you can, shove him a couple of shekels. I'm really pleased to welcome him. It's a fantastic set he's done for us. So it's over to you, Ian.
Hi, my name's Ian K. Brown. I'm a singer-songwriter and I live in Northumberland, right up next to Hadrian's Wall. I'll be playing some songs for Hedge at Home for the next half hour. First song I'm going to start with is called Mad Crazy Paul. It's about a chance meeting with a cocaine addict in a park in Amsterdam after midnight in the middle of February, and it was freezing. But this park was the one just behind the Rijksmuseum, and I'm sure many of you have been there. And then in that park there's lots of things you can play on, kind of interactive artistic sculptures. Like there's a thing full of water which is lit up from the bottom, and when you spin it round, all the light catches the spinning water. But the thing that you need to know in this song is on the ground there were 9 metal squares, and for each square, when you put your foot on each square, it played a different note, so you could dance around on it. I've no idea what these are called, so I just call them music squares, just so that you know when it turns up in the song. Mad Crazy Paul. crazy Paul. Maybe you're not mad or crazy after all. How can it be? We both agree it's a fine line between success and insanity. For mad crazy Paul, mad crazy Paul. Winter in Amsterdam, it's cold and it's late. We're walking in a park, feeling fine 'cause we've just ate. We're jumping on the music squares, playing tunes and dancing airs. Then mad crazy Paul comes along to show us that he can barely dance at all. It's wild and mad, crazy but not bad. He takes his turn, then tells of the life that he has had. Mad crazy Paul, mad crazy Paul. Had a good education, a good job and well paid. He travelled all over Europe, seeming like he'd got it made. He talked about a woman and the family he never had, and how the crazy man in his head just blew it all. He said, you deserve a good life, beautiful children and a beautiful wife. A blade twists in a deep nerve. Who really gets what they deserve? Is it the toss of the dice? Did Paul think once when he should have thought twice? There, but for the grace of we who turn away, goes mad crazy Paul, mad crazy Paul. We're ready for our hotel room. Is Paul ready for the night? As I shake his hand to say goodbye, nothing I can do can make things right. All my words seem so wrong, I can only think of another song. I say tonight, may Lady Luck shine down upon mad crazy Paul. Maybe you're not so mad or crazy after all. How can it be? You're a lot like me. It's a fine line between your success and my insanity. For mad crazy Paul, mad crazy Paul, mad crazy Paul, mad crazy Paul. Thank you. The next song I'm going to do is from a series of songs that I call The Reservoir Story. A few years ago, a friend of mine asked me if I would write some songs for a little booklet that he'd written about the building of a reservoir in a place called Castle Carrick in Cumbria. And he used to go around giving talks and showing slides. And he wanted some songs put together so that we could do something with songs, and he was a poet as well, and poems, and we would tell the story with a series of slides. And I did my bit of research about the building of this reservoir, which was to supply water to Carlisle. Now, Carlisle, before it was supplied with water from this reservoir that got built in Castle Carrick, used to be supplied with wells. And if you don't already know it, Carlisle is the most, or has been the most besieged city in the United Kingdom. England, Scotland, England, Scotland, England, and they all wish they were in Scotland now. But anyway, because of that, it became a garrison town. And as a result, because it was a garrison town, there was lots of soldiers around. If you got into trouble and were naughty and we were up before a magistrate, a judge, because you'd done something bad, you'd be given a choice between hard labour or going into the army. And one of the things they started doing for hard labour, other than smashing up rocks with a hammer, a lot of towns had a treadmill to pump up water. And so this is the song that features all those possibilities. It's called The Well in Carlisle. Oh, my name is John Bull, I'm a travelling man. I'm good at most things and I work where I can. I've come from the south and I'm looking around to see if there's work in a garrison town. Now I'm doing hard labour in Carlisle jail, so the rich folks don't have to hump bucket or pail. I pump up the water from Carlisle's well. 16 hours a day is just one living hell. When I entered the walls, I found a retreat to sup some good ale and have something to eat. When a big sergeant major came stumbling round for to enlist foolish folk for the crown. Now I'm a-doing hard labour in Carlisle jail, so the rich folks don't have to hump bucket or pail. I pump up the water from Carlisle's well. 16 hours a day is just one living hell. When I said not for me, well, he got himself riled. Then he called me a coward, so I couldn't just smile. I stood up and faced him as he squared up to me. 2 blows from my fist and he sank to his knees. Now I'm doing hard labour in Carlisle's jail, so the rich folks don't have to hump bucket or pail. I pump up the water from Carlisle's well. 16 hours a day is just one living hell. Well, the magistrate said, will you lend me your ear? Either serve for the king or be jailed for a year. My father and brother both died for the crown. I don't want to die, so I'll turn my luck down. Now I'm a-doing hard labour in Carlisle's jail, so the rich folks don't have to hump bucket or pail. I pump up the water in Carlisle's well. 16 hours a day is just one living hell. Now I work on the treadmill 16 hours a day, but I piss in the well when the guards turn away. I'll have my revenge when my time is complete, and that sergeant will never get back to his feet. Now I'm a-doing hard labour in Carlisle's jail, so the rich folks don't have to hump bucket or pail. I pump up the water from Carlisle's well. 16 hours a day is just one living hell. Now 1 year has passed and I'm at the same inn, and that sergeant is there, drunk through to his skin. When he went to the privy I followed him round, I just slit his throat and then left Carlisle town. Now I live in the country and I work on the land. There's water in streams, fresh, clear and close at hand. But I still can't forget when I stepped up and down as I pumped up the water in old Carlisle town. As I pumped up the water, as I pumped up the water, as I pumped up the water in old Carlisle town. Bit of a gruesome ending. This next song in the reservoir story is more about the place that the reservoir was built. It's built in a place called Castle Carrick. And Castle Carrick, by the way, has a fantastic music festival called Music on the Mar. And if you're up that part of the world in midsummer, it's worth looking up. It's not going to be on this year because of what's been going on. But Castle Carrick is a beautiful place. But then when the navigators came, there was about 500 extra people came to live in the place. And this song is very much a homesick song because I saw a photograph, a picture of lots of navigators lined up in a sort of team formation for a grand, very proud photograph. But on the edges of the photograph, there were young boys. Now, it doesn't matter how seasoned you are and good at travelling and used to living away from home, there's got to be that first time. And that must have been really hard. It's called The Water Flows Down. And the water it flows, rolls on down and down, flowing to the west towards my home. Yes, the water flows down and then stops at Carlisle town. You won't catch me stopping there when I go home. This village south of Brampton might be nice to spend your days, till 500 travelling working men start ripping up the place. If I had a wad of notes, I'd be on my way to start up my own business in the place that I call home. And the water it flows, rolls on down and down, flowing to the west towards my home. Yes, the water flows down and then stops at Carlisle town. You won't catch me stopping there when I go home. I've worked up north in Bellingham and then Halt Whistle Town, but with 50 sleeping in a hut, here's the worst I've known. I hear there's a good lodge with food in Western Cumberland. I think I'll jack it in and then move on. And the water it flows, rolls on down and down, flowing to the Yes, the water flows down and then stops at Carlisle town. You won't catch me stopping there when I go home. My body aches from working and I'm tired every day. If it wasn't for the cash I earn, I surely would not stay. But men are idle in my streets, there's no one who can pay, 'cause there's no work in the place that I call home. And the water, it flows, rolls on down and down, flowing to the west towards my home. Yes, the water flows down and then stops at Carlisle town. You won't catch me stopping there when I go home. I look to the hills, they remind me of my home. But with so much rain that's falling, it just chills me to the bone. If I had some spare cash, I'd send it back to Mom. Feels like I'm on the wrong side of the world. And the water, it flows, rolls on down and down, flowing to the west towards my home. Yes, the water flows down and then stops at Carlisle town. You won't catch me stopping there when I go home. You won't catch me stopping there when I go home. Thank you. Going on with the reservoir story, this song is my respectful song about the work navigators did for us and what a difference they make to our lives even today with all the things that we just look around and take for granted. It's called Navigator. I work knee deep in earth and mud, I'm no ordinary man. So don't call me just navigator, that's who I am. I'm up before the dawn, I crack water in the earth. It's cold like death this morning as I set out to work. I never pulled a sickie except when the coffin called. No weather ever stopped me, no job was ever stalled. I work knee deep in earth and mud, I'm no ordinary man. So don't call me just navigator, that's who I am. I work with pick and shovel and deadly dynamite. My muscles are like pistons that work through day and night. As you sit inside your comfort zone with luxury at hand, remember how they came to you on my work across this land. I work knee deep in earth and mud, I'm no ordinary man. So don't call me just navigator, that's who I am. Now you travel on my rail and roads, canals you use for leisure. Your life would not be here today. I brought you so much treasure. The cities would have shriveled up like plants deprived of water. So don't forget the reservoirs, another gift I brought you. I work knee deep in earth and mud, I'm no ordinary man. So don't call me just navigator, that's who I am. I work knee deep in earth and mud, I'm no ordinary man. So don't call me just navigator, that's who I am. Thank you. This is the last song in the series of songs about the reservoir story, and it's a nasty drinking song. Castle Carrick only had 2 pubs when the reservoir was being built, or before it was built. But when the navigators came along, that was not enough to feed the drinking needs of 500 men. So a lot of people, whilst they didn't want their village tearing up and fields flooded, because they didn't need the water, they did want to make some money. So they took out licenses, and back rooms, sheds, barns were used as drinking places. And it was rumoured that there were 12 places to drink around Castle Carrick. Indeed, I met a few of the people who did research into the homes that they live in, and they found out that theirs was one of the Dirty Dozen. That's the name of the song. And this is about a pub crawl around the dozen pubs in Castle Carrick at the time the reservoir was being built. One word you need to know is jacks, and that's an Irish slang word for toilets, which they think comes from the porcelain makers Jakes, and it's just a different way of pronouncing it. Gents, you've probably seen it on the porcelain when you've been to the toilet at some places. It's called the Dirty Dozen. Let's do the dirty dozen, drink until we're on our knees, then crawl on to the next bar, line the beers up if you please. I've worked for 3 weeks solid, and it's driving me insane. A thirst is burning in my throat, I need to douse the flame. So at 5 o'clock this evening, me and all the boys, we're going to drink our brains out and make a lot of noise. So let's do the dirty dozen, drink till we're on our knees, then crawl on to the next bar, line the beers up if you please. Let's do the dirty dozen, drink till we're on our knees, then crawl on to the next bar, line the beers up if you please. First bar is a proper pub on the village green. It wouldn't do to be banned from there, you know just what I mean. But the others round the village, they're only there for us. They're dark and dirty sheds and barns, places we can cuss. So let's do the dirty dozen, drink till we're on our knees, then crawl on to the next bar, line the beers up if you please. Let's do the dirty dozen, drink till we're on our knees, then crawl on to the next bar, line the beers up if you please. The men lock up their daughters, the wives lock up their men, 'cause we'd fuck them or we'd fight them, then get on the drink again. There's 12 bars all in all, we like to reach the end. But if we don't do the dozen, then next week we'll try again. So let's do the dirty dozen, drink till we're on our knees, then crawl on to the next bar, line the beers up if you please. Let's do the dirty dozen, drink till we're on our knees, then crawl on to the next bar, line the beers up if you please. By the time we've reached the 8th bar, we can barely see. We've already fought the English in bar number 3. The jacks is mainly in the fields, we use them now and then, and the sheep look more attractive than a hut of stinking men. So let's do the dirty dozen, drink till we're on our knees, then crawl on to the next bar, line the beers up if you please. Let's do the dirty dozen, drink till we're on our knees, then crawl on to the next bar, line the beers up if you please. The locals think we're mad to drink poison like we do, but our lot is really not nice as it is for you. So we'll drink beer by the gallon and always drink it fast, 'cause we could die tomorrow, so it might just be our last. So let's do the dirty dozen, drink till we're on our knees, then crawl on to the next bar, line the beers up if you please. Let's do the dirty dozen, drink till we're on our knees, then crawl on to the next bar, line the beers up if you please. So we'll drink beer by the gallon and we'll always drink it fast, 'cause we could die tomorrow, so it might just be our last. Thank you. I love that song. The last song that you'll hear is a recording from me playing at Maddie Pryor's Stepping Stone Festival. And it seems appropriate for Hedge at Home because this is my greatest hit, and it is about the hedge at my home. I'll just let you watch the video and you can see how it unfolds.
You're going to have a fantastic afternoon of some great music. I've heard the sound checks and it's wonderful. The only one I haven't heard is the first one up. Well, it wasn't my idea to book him, to be honest with you. But he's insisted on being here today, so would you please give a great big round of applause to Ian K. Brown. Thank you very much.
Trouble with following Billy, he's so short, isn't he? Right. Oh, is that a noise? Is that me? You on my phone? Switch your mobiles off. There's no signal anyway. Right, I was going to start with a song, but I'm going to start with another one. Do you want to switch my phone off? And I'm just looking around, there are no children in the audience, so I'm going to start with something. This is a traditional. Could you, Gary, just at the appropriate moment, you have to put the fingers over his ears, okay? This is in the sort of folk idiom, it's all about unrequited love and gardening. Some of you might have heard it. This is a song, this is my greatest hit. It went viral around Holtwhistle in Northumberland in a nicer way than most other things go viral. And it's about the thing that really has upset me most in recent years, my hedge, and what people do to it. It never goes right, but it doesn't matter. Summertime when the grass is growing, we all go out to doors. It's just like some primeval calling, filling our hands with swords. Gardening is a British right, we will defend it, even fight anyone who has a go and spoils our horticultural show. My privet hedge out front is my special pride and joy. I've cut it in all kinds of shapes for people to enjoy. I've cut it like a castle and a monster with big eyes. I've even cut a smile on it so it comes as no surprise. When I find it full of holes at weekends in the mornings, made by drunks who can't stand up, in fact they keep on falling. Aided by some alcohol, a privet isn't like a wall. They lean against it and they fall. If only I could catch them, you know just what I'd do. Just the other night, when to sleep I could not go, I heard some quiet voices underneath my bedroom window. It went on for a while, so I got up out of bed. I wasn't sure who was doing what to who, but they were doing it in my hedge. There was another bloody great big hole. Consuming passion was out of control. But how would you feel if it was you and the owner of the hedge interrupted you? And now that I had caught them, I didn't know quite what to do. You see, it's not where I would choose a bit more comfort with better views. I'd sooner do it with the shampoo girl who showers herself in a waterfall, or a tropical beach with coconut trees, breaking waves lapping to my knees, not too high up so as to chill the parts that are designed to thrill. But in my mind this thought is nagging, is it my libido lagging when I'm not turned on by the thought of shagging in someone's garden privet hedge? Or I could think of to say, please get out of my hedge and be on your way. A hasty withdrawal and some sorry said to me and to her, and then a slow stagger off home to bed. So what can I think to do to keep my hedge alive? Plant hawthorn in the gaping holes, filling the space just to survive. Maybe it's because I'm jealous of their youth and nature's laws, when I'm more worried about my privet hedge since the onset of the menopause. Or maybe I'm perverse and sick to spoil other people's passion by making my hedge off limits to try to stop this sexual fashion. But the next time the sap rises, and satisfaction must be quick, I'll wait for the cry when they're in my hedge. I think I can feel a little prick. The hedge. Thank you. Good night. See you in the future.
Well, I really hope you enjoyed that, and I can assure you that no sexual activity takes place in this hedge. Sometimes I wish it would, because we might get more viewers, but you know, I'm 62 and look pretty bloody awful these days, so I don't think it's going to happen. Certainly not with Mike. Anyway, Ian, that was really fantastic. So please donate if you can. Buy his products, whatever. All the details he put up at the end of his video, they'll be up at the end as well of the show. And I mean, it has been a tough time for musicians during the COVID crisis. No furlough. And I hear that a lot of musicians have actually taken jobs in Burger King. Apparently, it's very, very similar work. You know, working late at night and having drunks shouting at you all the time whilst you're working. The only difference really is you don't have to tune a guitar. So, there we have it for another show. In July, you lucky folks are going to get 1, 2, 3 shows. 3 whole shows. Now, the first one is going to feature Murray McDowell from County Antrim in Ireland. the second show. Oh, that's on the 3rd of July. And then Anto Mora from Norwich, he will be on... Do you know, I should have written down the actual date, shouldn't I? It might have been helpful rather than having to add it all up in my head. 14 plus 3, so 17. So on the 17th of July, it's Anto Moro, and he's from Norwich, and originally from he's sort of London Irish extraction. We've got a very, very fine line in bowler hats as well, so you'll enjoy him. And finally, on the 31st of July, from the Netherlands, we've got Ellie Kellner. And Ellie Kellner is a former member of Matthew's Southern Comfort. So there's a Fairport Convention connection for you. So all the Fairporters will be in watching that one, I hope. Then in August, I'm going to be taking a break. Yeah, hopefully it'll be festival season and holiday season. And so I thought I'd take a break for August. You never know, we might do something, a quick surprise gig from a cliff top in Cornwall or something, if we can, if the weather's good. But no planned shows. But we'll be back in September. And I might even call it the Hedge at Home, Volume 2 or Series 2 or something like that. Yeah, Series 2. Because we've been going now, God, it'll be 60 odd weeks in total, so 33, 34 shows or something. So that's it. Time for the last song. And of course we're going to end with our normal song. Hopefully by the end of this you will know it. I'm alive again on a May morning. Gonna wipe the slate clean and follow my dream. All the yearning buds are here again, with a promise of a new life to come. Spring is here again. The sun is melting over the hill. All our roads are waiting to be revealed. For this day in history has brought us to here. Now it's all there for the taking. Day is what you see. Night's return and work is in hand. All the cynics have vanished from where we stand. All the chances wasted that drawing us near. And all around is a new life rising. from the winter field. I'm alive again. I'm alive again. I'm alive. I'm alive. I'm alive again. I'm alive. I'm alive. I'm alive again. I'm alive. I'm alive. I'm alive again. I'm alive again. The wonderful May Morning by the MacDonald Brothers. So, there you have it. Very big thanks to Fine Lines, Ian Francis Osborne and Ian K. Brown. And a big goodbye from me. And a goodbye from Mike.
Goodbye!
See, just a previous... Actually, I've got him on tape. That's what it is. And... especially, of course, all of you. Without you, the show wouldn't be possible. Wouldn't even be worth doing, would it? So, thanks to all of you for watching. Hope you've enjoyed the show. May your gods go with you. Have a great solstice if you celebrate that. And see you next time with Murray McDowell on the 3rd of July. Until then, bye!